Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode, or rather, session on the AWS Primer series. This is the part 17, and today Jyoti is going to tell us about AWS ELB. Right, Jyoti?
Yes, Brajesh.
Okay, all right. So let's wait and hear what Jyoti has to say. Take it away, Jyoti. All yours.
Okay, thank you, Brajesh. Yeah, so hi everyone. So we are meeting after break of 3 weeks due to some family responsibilities. I couldn't take the previous session. So yeah, so today we'll start our new topic, which is ELB. And as you know how I take these topics, first it's all about theory and very basic, and then we go in depth on these series. So today I'll tell you about what load balancers are and the type of load balancers we have, which AWS provides us, and then we'll do a small lab to understand, like, okay, what exactly we are trying to achieve by using your elastic load balancer. Okay, again, this is the first topic of ELB, so it is going to be very basic, and in upcoming session we'll go very deep in these topics. Okay.
And
So
you'll do a lab as well, right?
yes. So today also I have kept one lab, taking the learning from my
Awesome.
Elastic Search sessions. Okay. Okay, guys. So here is the agenda. So we'll talk about why we need load balancers, health check, which is very important aspect of load balancer, and then the type, and then a small lab on application load balancer, NLB, which is network load balancer. Probably we'll take it in the next session because in ALB, I want that you all do hands-on with me. Okay. Okay, so why elastic load balancer? Yes, so as we know, we can get huge traffic in certain point in time. For example, I always give this example of the big billion sales, etc., which happens in Amazon, Flipkart, etc. So we know at that time we are going to get huge traffic. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to forward those traffic to our multiple. So you'll have same application which would be deployed on multiple servers. Okay, and based upon the health and the traffic, your load would be distributed. Okay, so and everything is going to be automatic. So what your ELB does is it automatically distributes your incoming traffic across multiple targets. Okay, now your target could be a EC2 instance or your IP address or a container, right? So with the IP address functionality, now for example you have your application which is deployed both on-prem and on the cloud platform. So with this option of having IP address as a target, now you can forward your traffic to your on-premises servers as well. Okay. And then finally, what ELB does it monitors these targets which are attached to your ELB. Okay. So if it finds it that yes, these targets they are healthy, it would transfer your traffic to that target. Okay, then expose single point of access to your application. So what exactly it means is you have a user. Okay, then there would be something called as your elastic load balancer, and behind the elastic load balancer you'll have your actual EC2 instances. So with use of ELB, what we are doing is we are just giving a access of ELB. Okay, so what exactly we mean by giving access is we are making ELB as public. Okay, now we understand when we what do we mean by public servers, what do we mean by private servers. Okay, so now you're just exposing your ELB. Okay, so now when you say google.com, it would be mapped to a DNS, and then that DNS would in turn map to your ELB. Now after ELB gets the request, it would divert your traffic accordingly. So ELB has all the register target your EC2 instances. Okay, so now with this approach, you don't have to make your EC2 instance as public. They can remain private. Okay. Next is seamlessly handle failure of downstream instance. So what does that mean is, for example, we did a health check. Okay, so ELB did a health check on the target group, and then target group checked the target. Okay, so if there was any failure, now your traffic won't be diverted to that unhealthy instance. Okay, ensure stickiness with cookies. So what does this mean at a high level is, now if you want that from a particular, like for example, if a request is coming from Delhi, okay, so all the requests which is coming from Delhi should be targeted to a specific target group. So you can have these kind of things as well. Okay, and then ELB provides integration with various services like your CloudWatch, okay, you with the Lambda, etc. And finally, work with configuration using UI. Again, in today's lab, you'll understand whatever changes I have to do onto the ELB, I can do it with the help of UI. Okay. Yep. So since as health check is a very important aspect of elastic load balancer, let's understand the type of health check we can have. Okay, and what exactly we want to see with the health check, right? Okay, so this is used by AWS to determine the availability of your EC2 instance and its readiness to receive traffic. Okay, configured with, okay, you can configure it with the protocol. Okay, so with protocol is like your HTTP, HTTPS, or you can have a particular port number. Okay, so you want to hit that port number and see, okay, is it up and running or not? And how do we see that yes, your instance is up and running? You should get a response as 200. Okay, so here is the three categories like pin target. Yeah, so for example, you can look for specific file, specific path, and specific port. You hit that path, and if you see, okay, you are getting 200, that means yes, this is healthy, right? So again, see the power of AWS. You don't have to do all these things, right? You just provide what you need to check, right? Rest ELB would take care of you. Okay, then response time, maybe you can have a health check based on the response timeout. Okay, so you can keep hitting your server and see whether you're getting response or not. Okay, and then there is a concept of health check interval also, like, okay, for a instance to be called as healthy, it's 10 subsequent response should be 200. Like if you see that the two consecutive responses are unhealthy, like it's other than 200, that means your that server is unhealthy and we should not send the traffic to the unhealthy server. Okay, yeah. Now coming over to the types of load balancer. So the first load balancer which was introduced by AWS, which is classic load balancer. Okay, so this is the older version. AWS doesn't recommend that we use elastic load balancer until and unless if you have a old account. Okay, and then from this they came up with the two load balancer, which is your application load balancer. So what exactly we mean by application load balancer? It works on the layer 7 of OSI model. So what exactly we mean by layer 7? Okay, so remember, you have application layer, you have presentation layer, you have session layer. So it works at the application layer. That's why its name is application load balancer. Okay, and then the third one is your network load balancer. It works at your layer 4. So what do we mean by layer 4? It is for your TCP and UDP protocols. Okay, so with the name also you can understand that I'll go for application load balancer, just a small use case when I have my application with protocol as HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, that time you'll go for application load balancer. And when we talk about network load balancer, it's when your application is non HTTP. Okay, yeah. So here is a small diagram to explain you about application load balancer. Okay, so see how does this work? Okay, so you'll have a load balancer, and in after load balancer we have something called as listeners. Okay, I'll show you on the console. So what exactly we do in the listeners? We set up some rule. Okay, so rule could be, for example, in PayU, this is what we used to do during those sales seasons, right? So we used to set a query parameter, right? Like if the URL has a parameter as Flipkart, Okay, that means all the traffic related to Flipkart would go to a specific servers. Okay, or if it is Dream 11, Hotstar. So we used to do load balancing based on the parameters, the query parameter in your URL. Okay, so this is what we do in a rule. So the rule could be based upon the HTTP methods. It could be based on your headers. It could be based on the path. Okay, or the host name. Right. So this is the important part in the application load balancer kind of rule you set up. Okay, and then based on the rule, okay, so if you said, for example, for Flipkart, this is my target group. Okay, so now what would happen? ELB, it would check the rule. Oh, it's Flipkart. Okay, so for Flipkart, this is my target group. Okay, now in this target group, I have got 2 servers. Okay, I'll check the health. Okay, if the health check of both pass, then you would randomly do the routing. Okay, there are routing algorithms also, will go in depth for that later. So but if both are healthy, at one time you will see a response coming from target 1, and another time you'll see a response coming from target 2. Okay, similarly, if you have set it as Hotstar. Okay, so again, all these are the servers which are part of the Hotstar target group, and whichever would be healthy would get that request. Okay, yeah. Network load balancer in today's session, it is little difficult to explain, but for now, just understand. Here we are going to do distribution of traffic based on IP address and destination port. And here you don't have these options of what we had in application load balancer. Like you could set rule based on host name, path, query string parameters, etc. Okay. And when do we use network load balancer? Okay, you'll use it. This is the simple case when it's a non-HTTP protocol, your application is non-HTTP, or whenever you want to do a real-time data streaming of the services, right? That because when we talk about 4th layer of OSI model, there you have protocol like TCP and UDP, right? So hence it has got this name as network load balancer. Okay. Okay, so let's do small lab to understand how actually application load balancer would do. So this is what I am going to do is I'll create 2 rules. Okay, so what are those 2 rules? First rule would say that if my path parameter has value as debit, then my request would go to this target group. Okay, and which has got 2 servers in it. Okay, so you'll see that since my both the servers are healthy, you'll see at one time you'll see a response from EC2 1, and another time you'll see a response from EC2. Okay, and the second rule, I'll set it up for credit card. Okay, and there has to be something which is called as default. So what exactly we mean by default? If you don't provide in the path as /debit or /credit, so by default where my traffic should be routed, so even that you have to set up. Okay, any question on the theory before we move to lab?
No question from my side.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so I hope you all have logged into your AWS management console. If not, take 2 minutes and let's log in, and you can pick any region. Okay, let me know once you have logged in. Okay. Yeah, and one more thing I forgot to tell about network load balancer. This you'll choose when you want low latency. Okay, whenever you're targeting for high performance and low latency, that time you'll have a network load balancer. So on console also, I'll show you all these load balancer. Okay, how do they look like? Okay. Just write in the chat yes once you have logged in. Okay. Umang, do you have an account in AWS?
Jyoti, I have it, but currently I'm not having access to my laptop. I'm actually joined from my mobile.
Okay.
Maybe, you know, after I watch the recording again and do the hands-on.
Okay, okay, works for me. Okay, so meanwhile, you guys are logging to your application. See, when we do a create load balancer, you see three types. Okay, this will come later. Okay, so you have application load balancer and let network load balancer. So from diagram also you can see, okay, this is user, this is an ALB, and this is for HTTP and HTTPS kind of an application. Okay, and then you can target your traffic to a Lambda or to your EC2 instance or to your containers. Okay, and in case of network load balancer, you don't have like a specific what do you say, target. It's just okay, you have TCP UDP, so you'll get a, if you get a request of these type, you'll forward your traffic to any of these respective targets. Okay, so Faiz and Rajesh, have you logged in to the application?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so what we need to do is we'll follow the diagram. So we need to create 4 servers. Okay, so let's start with creating our first server. Okay, let me show it to you what exactly we are going to do in all the 4 servers. Just the name would change. Okay, select this Amazon Linux 2 AMI. Why? Because the command which I've used to install your web servers, etc., they are specific to Linux too. Okay. Okay, so we'll select T2 micro. Yeah. Now come to this user data section, which is at step 3. Okay, and just paste this. I'll tell you what exactly is we are doing in this command. I'm just sending something on the chat. Okay, so what exactly we are trying to do is we are installing a HTTPD server. Okay, and in var www html folder we are placing we are creating a file named as index.html, and that has got message as this is for debit server 1. Okay, and then again we are creating another file named as debit.html where we are writing this transaction is being done by debit server 1. Just this is just to tell you like when we ELB comes into picture, how it is distributing the traffic. Okay. Okay. So add storage, nothing. Tag, yes. Name it as, since it's for debit card. Okay, we are working on the left side of that diagram, if you remember this. Okay. First we are setting up the bottom part. Okay, which is like we have to create 2 EC2 instances. Okay, and how to distinguish that they are for debit card, we are just writing a random text in their index.html file. Okay, and since it's a HTTP application, so what we have to do is in security group we have to open port number 80. Okay, so debit. Okay, you can say debit server 1, 2, anything. I've already used debit server 1, so I'm just going to do debit 1. Okay, configure security group. Here, create a security group, name whatever name you want to give, but ensure that you enable port number 80. Okay, so how do you do? Add role, go to HTTP, and here you need to enable port 80. Okay. I have already created a security group for myself. Okay, so I'm going to pick that. It's ALB demo. Okay, review and launch, So you can either select any existing key pair or create a new one. Okay. Launch instance. So I'll wait for it to launch because I want to show you what is the text in your debit.html. It's still initializing. Let's see 2 by 2. Okay, so meanwhile, this is getting up. Let me just show it to you. Same thing which I had done in my debit server 1. Okay, so copy the public IP address, go to your browser, and see what do you get. This is for debit server 1. So this is same text which we had put in our index.html file. Okay, so as you know, your Tomcat, it looks for this index.html file at port number 80. Okay, and if I do debit.html, then I'll get information as this transaction has been done by debit server 1. Okay, so the idea to show this was to tell you, yes, my server is up and running. Okay, now similarly, I'll go ahead and launch another server. We'll do same thing as what we did for our first server, but instead of having debit 1, we'll write debit server 2. Okay. Okay, so what we have to do is go ahead, launch another server. First, both of you check, like once your server has been initialized, you get 2 by 2 as a health check. Do same step which I did is go to browser, copy the public IP address and see what message you are getting, and then go to debit.html and see what information you are getting. Okay. Yeah, again in user data, I'll paste same thing which I had given in the chat, but just rename it to debit server 2. Okay, so wherever it's server 1, you just name it to server 2. Okay. Okay, once you are done with the debit server, again go ahead and create another server, and remember what changes you have to do is for the credit card, you need to write this is for credit server 1, and then again this transaction is being done by credit server 1, and the HTML file which you create, it is going to be credit.html instead of debit.html. Okay. In case you face any issue, do let me know. We can share the screen and debug. Okay. So meanwhile, this is setting up. I'll go ahead and create my third server. Now, debit portion is done. What does that mean is we are done with this portion. We have created 2 instances, okay, for my debit server. Now I'm going to do it for my credit server. Okay. Okay, so just paste same thing, but remember to change everything to credit. While practicing, what I did is I created these 4 servers. I changed the text, but I forgot to change the name of the file from debit to credit. Okay, and I was trying to access the server, this credit card server which I had created and I was not getting any response. So after debugging, I realized that there's no file named as credit. Yeah. So my one server for credit card is set. I'm going to create another server for my credit card. Yeah, same thing, but just credit server 2. Credit server 2, and here credit. The HTML file would be same, like it would be either debit.html or credit.html. There you don't have to write credit 1 and credit 2. Okay, just in the text you have to write. Add storage, nothing for the storage. Name, credit. Make sure you create the tags as well, because these tags would be helpful for us in selecting the targets while setting up my target groups. Okay, guys. So have we created all 4 servers?
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yes, Jyoti.
okay. So now we are done with this portion, the bottom one. As in now we have independently, we haven't created a target group yet. We have just created targets. So we have got 4 targets. Okay, 2 for the debit and 2 for the credit card. Okay, just to be on safer side, pick IP public IP address of all the 4 and just check you are getting a valid response or not. Okay, which is like, are you getting a valid message?
Yeah, I did check. I'm getting it. Yeah.
Okay. So now next step is this box which you see, which is now creation of a target group. Okay, so for that what you need to do is go at the bottom under load balancing, you'll find target group. Okay, click on create target group. Since our target type is that of an instance, so make sure in target type you select instance. Okay, name anything. So I'm going to name it as DB. You can name whatever you want to. Okay, just ensure that you are able to find out, okay, this is for my debit card and this is for my credit card. You can keep everything default. Okay, move to the next step. Now you have to register your targets. So pick 2 servers which you had created for your debit card. Okay, so I had created debit 1 and debit 2. So I'm selecting both of them. Once you have selected, come at the bottom and you will see a button named as include as pending below. Okay, and the port which you have to open is port number 80. Okay, click on include as pending below. Yeah, once done, click create target. Sorry. Now I'm going to create another target group for my portion at the right side, where I'll add 3rd and 4th server. Okay, so again, create target group. Instance is my target type. I'm taking this as CB. Don't touch anything, move to the next step. And here, select the servers which you had created for your credit card. Okay. Don't forget to do this, include as pending below. So what this does is this adds your target, okay, to the target group. Yeah. So now even this is done, guys. I've created 2 target groups and I've added their respective servers. Now what is left is my ELB. So I'll create ELB and then I'll create listeners. So what are listeners? Those are my rules. Okay. So again, click on load balancers. Click create load balancer. Pick application load balancer. Yeah, name anything. Okay, so TTC demo, for example. This is my internet. So your ELB, it could be of 2 kinds. It could be your internet facing or internal. For now, whatever we are doing, that is like internet facing. Okay.
What is What is the difference?
What
internet
is
versus internal facing?
yes. So this is for outside, as in from internet you can access it. Okay, but the internals you cannot.
Okay,
so they'll
okay.
have yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so once you've selected internet facing, VPC, let it be default. Okay, and pick all the availability zone which you are seeing. Okay. This part is important, security group. So make sure you select a security group which has port 80 enabled, right? So what I'll do, I have already created a security group, okay, which I had attached to my instances. I'll pick same security group here also. So mine was ALP demo. Okay. Now let's come to the listeners part. Okay. So what we are saying is, if you get a request for HTTP on port 80, where I need to forward my traffic to, so you have to pick any default target group. Okay, so I'm saying DB. What does that means? In the path, if I don't provide /credit/debit, so by default, when I'll access my ELB, okay, the DNS name of that ELB, I'll see a response which has been set up for my debit cards. Okay. Then create load balancer. Okay. Okay. So now it's provisioning. Let it be active. Okay. So we'll see the first part, which is how default response looks like. And I hope you understand, like suppose ELB finds out that your one of the servers is unhealthy. So what would happen? That unhealthy server would be discarded and a new server would be launched. Remember our exercise on auto scaling. Okay. So usually we use ELB and auto scaling together. It's still provisioning.
Jyoti, that is very useful from a disaster recovery perspective. However, what are the other implications? Is it something to do with heavy usage and increased load and things like that?
Yes. Yeah. So if you're talking about the load balancer, okay, and why, see, its name is Elastic Load Balancer. So it would help you in scaling up. Okay. For example, then you have to do some configuration. For example, when somebody is trying to access the servers and you start getting error as 503, etc., that means, oh, there is not enough load. I mean, enough server to put your load. Okay, so then your auto scaling would come in picture and it would launch another servers for you.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
But if we take care of, if we see ELB by removing your auto scaling, so the simple task what elastic load balancer is doing is it is distributing your traffic equally. Okay, for example, there are 3 servers, so it would ensure that all the 3 gets 33% of the load. It shouldn't be that one server is getting 70%, another is getting 25%, and the third one is getting 5%. If we have not set any rule, for example, if not set any rule, the path, etc. It's simple ELB if I've created, and to that ELB I've just attached 3 servers. So your ELB would ensure that all the 3 gets equal traffic. And then the next layer comes is, okay, you want that for my specific client, load should go to the specific target group. Okay, for example, for say PayU, who helps the Flipkart, Amazon in the transaction. Okay, so you want that there shouldn't be any glitch for Flipkart or Amazon. Okay, so what you'll do, you'll create a dedicated target groups for those clients. Okay, so now see, this is done. Okay, remember default rule what I had created. If you get a hit on the ELB, the default response should be that of what we have set for my debit card target group. Okay, so let me copy this. See, this is for debit server 1. Let me just refresh. What happened? Yeah, see, this is for your debit server 2. Now, what it is doing, it is equally distributing your traffic, first on the debit server 1 and second on debit server 2. Okay, similarly, why you're not getting response for credit servers? Because the default we had set it for DB, which was my debit card target group. Okay, now let's go ahead and add another layer, which is another rule, which would be based on path, which is something like this. If I do debit.html, then I should get, right now you won't get any response because, oh, we are getting because of that default value. Anyways, if I do credit, see, we are not getting any response here. Why? Because we haven't set up any rule. Okay, so let's go ahead and specify the rules. Okay, so for that, what you have to do, go to the listeners in your load balancer, click on the listeners. You'll see option view edit rule. Okay, let me just set it for credit card for now. Okay, so there would be a plus sign, insert rule. What kind of a rule? See how many kind of rule you can have. Host header, you can do based on what is there in your API request header, path, HTTP request method. You can distribute traffic based on the method as well. Query string, source IP. For now, we are using path. Okay, so we are saying if path contains credit. Okay, if path has value something like this, credit, then where do I want to forward my traffic to? I want to forward it to my credit card target group. Okay, and save. Now let's go and reload same URL and see if you're getting. It's taking some time. Okay, I hope this time also, yeah. So this transaction is being done by credit server 1. Okay. Were you guys able to do till here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So this was how your ALB is working. Now you'll follow what exactly we mean by application load balancer, right? Okay. So I had only this lab for today. The network load balancer, I'll pick it in next session. Okay, just revising whatever we have learned. Okay.
So Jyoti, do we have any drawbacks regarding ALB and any other better mechanism that AWS provide on top of ALB? Because somewhere I read that some companies moved, to something else where previously they were having ALB, then they had some issues with auto scaling wherein any unhealthy node,
Mhm.
they were not able to, generate new healthy nodes quickly, and that resulted in end user experience being degraded.
Okay, so for Umang, what happens is, see, if you're auto scaling, do adds a new server. Okay, if there is something unhealthy, okay, our auto scaling would come in picture and it would launch a new instance. But there is something called as pre-warming. Okay, what does that means is, still the traffic, what ELB does it, it's still continues sending traffic to the other two nodes, okay, which were healthy. And it takes some time for ELB to send a traffic to your new server. Okay, so for that you need to work with AWS and you need to ask them to pre-warm it.
Okay,
Okay.
and the mechanism of auto scaling is seamless with ALB even for services containerized using Gandalf and pods being orchestrated using Kubernetes. Whether ALB's integration with that is also seamless.
Umang, I'm sorry, I won't be able to answer this question now because I'm not that well versed with Kubernetes and Docker at the moment.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it just came up in my mind, so I just
Okay,
asked.
okay. But thank you for those questions. Probably I'll check and
Yeah,
let
that's
you
a
know.
good
By,
research subject. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jyoti, for the session today. And as usual, it was very informative. So the next session, we have it in the new year.
Yes. By the way, let me check what is next. Yeah, it's Christmas. So
Christmas and
not sure.
then New Year, and then okay. So we will meet next year, probably on the
Okay.
8th of Jan.
Okay.
8th of Jan is the second Saturday of 2022. So we meet then.
Yeah.
And wish you happy holidays and very happy New Year, Jyoti.
Thank you, Brijesh. Wish you
And
same.
everybody.
Yeah.
Faiz, Umang, you guys as well.
Happy holidays. Yeah, happy holidays and
Happy
New Year to
holidays.
everyone.
Thank you. Okay, guys. So see you
Thank
in
you, Jyoti.
2022. Bye.
Very informative session. Thanks.
See you
Okay,
next year.
man.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.